What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Christmastide is a uniquely paradoxical season. As the days grow shorter, and our hemisphere spends less time each day from the sun's radiance and warmth, and as we faithfully try to honor the call of Advent to slow down and prepare for the birth of the Messiah, we are more often than not overwhelmed by the clamor of commercialization all around us. It seems the paradox of the Christmas season is growing more and more fragmented and tenuous each year. Archbishop Desmond Tutu once said, "Hope is being able to see that there is light, despite all the darkness." The invitation before us today and always is to open our hearts and our minds to the mystery, wonder, and joy that is the essence of Christmas. Holding on to hope is challenging even under normal circumstances. For me, when I'm having a hard time seeing light through the darkness, I often take unconventional routes to get unstuck. As many of you may know, I am a pop culture movie enthusiast. I quote movies all the time, much to the delight and sometimes good-natured dismay of the diocesan staff. This time of the year is no exception. I know most of the lines from everything to the classics like A Christmas Carol to comedies like Elf and Scrooged. Most of these movies are by no means reverent, and they are certainly not religious. But they bring me joy. And perhaps ultimately, that is the point. Whatever makes us laugh or even cry reveal deeper meanings that are timeless and true. As you may know, the book How the Grinch Stole Christmas, written by Dr. Seuss in 1957, was later made into an animated movie in 1966. By the time I was old enough to watch it on television, it had become an annual favorite in most households. You know the story. A bad-tempered hermit lives in a cave up on top of a snowy mountain with his dog Max. The Grinch, irritated by the noise and the cheer, says to himself, "I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years, I've put up with it now. I must stop Christmas from coming. But how?" He goes down and takes everything. Ribbons, lights, stockings, trees, presents, candy canes, even the roast beefs, as he stuffed them in bags. Then, very nimbly, he stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. Like the Grinch, pandemic has stolen so much from us this year. Some of us may relate to the story even more these days. Nothing is the same, and everything is changed. Thousands have died, and millions have lost their livelihoods. For the safety and protection of ourselves and others, we wear face coverings and stay 6 feet apart. We resist hugs and family gatherings. We are tired, and we are struggling with loneliness, hungry to return to face-to-face, in-person, real, honest-to-goodness human connection. We yearn to return to jobs that give us purpose, hobbies that give us pleasure, and people that give us love. Many of us grieve not being able to gather in person and celebrate the nativity of our Lord, to receive communion and sing the old-time carol, Silent Night, surrounded by the soft glow of candlelight. We desperately want to believe that the ending to the story of the Grinch is true. It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. What if Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store? What if Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more? I've always wondered about the sounds surrounding the birth. Was it quiet with the faint, gentle mewing of sheep? Or was it more lively with unnamed family or old friends helping prepare food for the new parents? Was it calm with the reverent awe of the shepherds peering in at the entrance to the cave? Or was it joyful with the glorious songs of angels? Were there hushed conversations filling the cave? Were there piercing cries of a newborn? One of the popular but misguided images of the Nativity is the Holy Family gathered in a wooden barn with doves perched in the rafters and sheep and donkeys looking over their stalls to behold the newborn child. In reality, Jesus was born in the back of a rock cave where the family safeguarded their livestock. Whatever the circumstances might have been, I believe underneath it all, what has been heard ever since are the reverberations of saving grace. For Christians, Christmas is the manifestation of love incarnate, come into the world to boldly proclaim that God is always with us. Emmanuel. Christmas is the time when people everywhere yearn to know that the ancient story is true and real, not just a moment lost to the history books, but somehow present, now. That when our communities and our own lives are being torn apart by strife, we can believe that we are never alone. In the midst of paradox, our hearts want to sing, O come, Emmanuel. Come thou dayspring, come and cheer our spirits by thine advent here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night and death's dark shadows put to flight. Christ came not to prevent pain and grief. Rather, Jesus came to save us from the darkness of despair and division, isolation and fear. Love was born in the flesh to reveal the sacred interdependence of all our relationships. God came in the form of a baby to teach us that we actually need each other for support, for companionship, and sometimes for survival. Jesus' whole life, his mission and ministry, demonstrated that human and divine vulnerability is an integral facet of love. Truly, despite all the heartache in the world, God is with us. And that is the point. The question is not if God is with us, but where and how God is showing up in our midst, in subtle and unexpected ways. Jesus was not born in a perfectly prepared nursery. Rather, God incarnate was born in the back of a cave and laid down in a dirty trough. From the beginning, Jesus showed up then and continues to show up now in the middle of all our messy, strained, tense, and painful lives. I wonder how God is showing up in your life right now. I wonder how Jesus is bringing even a small flicker of light and love into your heart. By the light of the star in the sky and the sound of joy from the heavenly chorus, Jesus comes into our world and invites us into loving, liberating, and life-giving relationships with ourselves, with each other, and with our Creator. The newborn child, vulnerable and dependent on his parents and community for their love and care, demonstrates the depths of God's love and deep desire for relationship with all people, everywhere. My prayer and hope for each of you is that you know that you are not alone, that God is with you, and the love of Christ is being born anew in our lives and in the world to shine light into the darkness and make us whole.